Hey everyone. Hey Chirpy. Hey Adam. Hey Cam. Hey Tinker. Hey Andrew. Mark Osborne. Tune Department 1. Glad you're here. What are you all doing? Haven't you got anything else to do? You're all sort of hanging around waiting for me to turn up. It's pretty crazy. Hey Machine UNZ. Hey John. It's not late yet, John. Don't know what news is that little book. Housekeeping in DOS games. Stupid GoPro. Hang on. Hi, Craig. Hey, JB. There's that little book that we talked about last week. Tinker scanned the copy I sent, and there's a download link in the description, so go check it out. Pretty interesting little book. Lots of fun projects and information in it. A bit dated, but fun. Thanks, Tinker. Someone give John Pettit a hand with the VFD. He's in Brisbane. Anyway, the link's there. I've put it on my Google Drive, which anyone can access. I think it's free for all. I don't think you need permissions or anything. If anyone has problems, let me know. But I shared that link. Ha! This engine. It's not finished yet. It's getting very close. I've uploaded the video on making the roof. Tonight, it's not published yet. At some point it will be on Patreon. You've had 2 this week. That's not a bad effort. And there's been 2 updates, the front axle updates on YouTube too. So if you have a look for those videos on making this front axle unit. Hi Dan. Interesting video you put up last night. Have you been to bed yet? But no, it still needs a pulley. I've had it ticking over. I'm not even going to say that. I probably shouldn't say that, but I have had it ticking over on air. And it runs like a dream, so there's no problems with it. There's a bit of a knock in it, but it's probably big end bearings, maybe. They're only through a bit of tin. So good night, John. Might give you a call tomorrow. So I want to put this pulley on it and the belt. That's kind of the job for tomorrow. I wanted to get this video on this sorted out first and edited. Hey, Peter. Hey, Lisa. So, no, it hasn't steamed, and we might give it a run next week just for the fun of it. If you all tune in, hold me to that. We'll get everything ready to give it a run, and it should be pretty well steaming nicely by then, I hope. It's a pretty good fun project. There's a lot of work in it, and there's a lot of little challenges. This there's a bit of weight in it too. This, we can see that canopy is fairly rare and desirable collectible. These are collectible. It's crazy to make something that's actually worth something as a collectible. But these have been made by school kids over the last 30 or 40 years, and there's people who are out there actually buying these and looking at them. And not very many people have this accessory because it wasn't very easy to find, or easy to make. So I've actually got one of them, and I posted on one of the Mammon forums, or one of the Toy Steam forums. And I got about a dozen offers to buy one. I don't think that's going to happen somehow, but I'm really pleased with the way it might come out. Emboss the top, so give it a bit of strength. It's got a double fold on here, and then it's got a piece that sits. Let's put this around here so you can see it. A piece that sits, it runs in between the fold to hold it all in place. So it's pretty crazy that little engine that I can build here from scratch, from nothing, basically from a few 3D prints and a stack of sheet metal and a few screws and not a lot else. Put on eBay and it's collectible. It's strange. It is a pretty nice engine though. I'm really pleased with it. I'm pleased with the way it's come up. It's not quite finished. There's a few loose bolts and things on it, as you'll probably see. This nut just fell off here. I did make dome nuts for the front. I only made them for the back, which was a bit slack, but I ran out of time that night. I did do a video on this. I think it's the next video to go up. Is maybe this video's already been on YouTube, making the dome nuts, but I never ever got the dome nuts finished, which is a bit slack. But it's got the chrome ones from the hardware store on the front. It's passed boiler test pretty well. Yes, that's why they never got done, and might get done this week. I don't know. It's one of the little jobs that still need to be done. Passed boiler test with flying colours, no problems with that. It's got a huge big stay through the middle of it, and it's got dished ends and silver soldered. There's no reason why it shouldn't. It's pretty much a fail-safe design. But very pretty engine. We painted the wheels green as per popular vote on Patreon. The red stripe was picked out by David Few, who's done a lot for this channel. I guess he's probably listening and probably should join in, but big shout out. The burner's ready to go, and I have actually lit that up. I know it works. And I don't know whether it needs a nameplate or some letters along the side, or a nameplate on the front maybe, or even a nameplate on here. Or we could put a nameplate under this nut on the back of the firebox, might be nice too. I don't know whether I'm going to do that this week or not. Welcome back, Cam. The quick trip. So that's good. The safety valve set at about 30 psi. It's tested okay to about 60. No problems. Everything runs pretty sweet. So I'm not going to start it up here because I haven't put the video up on Patreon. And next week we might give it a run. I did a bit of a mod. I'll grab that and we can have a look. Did a bit of a mod to this. As this you can probably see, this is the pump I bought. We put an extra manifold on here. Don't know if you can see that. This is the banjo for testing this little boiler, and this is going to need some mods. I'm probably going to make this so that it screws together in case I have to test something similar, but it wants to be a bit longer to test. Probably the next boilers that need to be done, which are a bit bigger diameter. I found this pressure gauge on eBay, which only runs to 230 psi. The other one runs to about 900, so it would be very easy with this pump to stretch this one beyond belief or burst it, or what. I don't know what happens to Bowden gauges when they go 5 times over their limit. Probably nothing. I've also put, I don't know if you can see that, I'm going to tilt this camera down. That's probably right, Craig. I've put a hot water cylinder expansion valve here, which blows off at 1200 kPa. It was 150, 160 psi. So I've dropped that in there. If we block this up here, this blows off at about 150, so we're not going to damage the valve. I'm not going to damage the pressure gauge. So that was a fairly nice little repair, I think, or modification. Put 2 bolts in here so it's actually mounted rigid. And it all looks pretty good. I'm pleased with that. But that's my boiler test rig for model boilers, and I'm kind of shouldn't have to update that or upgrade it anytime soon. And I'm out of pocket on it. The pump was about $90 Australian. The pressure relief valve was about 50, 60. There was a few fittings and there was a pressure gauge. I'm probably out of pocket about $200 on this. So it's pretty good value for money, and a lot better than messing around with a little pump, or even buying a kit pump for as much money and then having to make it and make a tank and put it all together. This is a pretty good unit and I'm really pleased with it. Don't know if there's much else. I've had the week off. We had some stuff go down at work, and I've been given annual leave, which is at a moment's notice, for a few days, not because of something I've done, but because we've got some trading difficulties in the shopping centre that we're with. So until that's sorted out with the solicitors and things, I'm off work for a week, which is kind of amazing, actually. I've really been enjoying that. That's why we've got 3 videos out on this, and we've actually got it sort of half finished. Been trying to get that going since I got back from America. So hopefully that gets all sorted out pretty soon, but until then I'm enjoying the time at home. This is the core box. It probably is a bit fancy, Lisa, but it works. I'm really impressed about it. I really like that pump. And it makes boiler testing so easy. It's got a... I'm glad you got it, Craig. You must have downloaded okay. It's a nice job, actually. Really professional scan. I'm sort of a bit impressed. This was a bit of a headache to make up. It's the main core box for the Stuart Turner engine. I haven't done much on this week. And we got to this before the tree blew over in the yard or fell over in the yard or in the river, and I sort of had to call it a night last week, and I apologise for that. Everything's okay, and today's the first day we've had where the rain stopped, so since then, so it's pretty damp out there. No one's going to do anything about it for a few days. This is the core box that goes in here. There's a core goes around here, and it's got a bigger diameter here, which is the outside of the cylinder liner. There's another core goes through the center for the inside of the center of the cylinder liner. Made this up. A bit proud of this. It's a bit complicated. But this is a tapered pin. So that you can get it out, hopefully. Might need a bit of some mold release or something on it. And these two bits fit together like this, and you pack it down through the top. And hopefully we can get a sodium silicate sand core out of this. It'll go in the mold for this and make a job of it. There's still the complicated one to do, and I might get to it this week or I might not. But I might even do a practice sand core here. I've got some sodium silicate. If it's any good and if we can mix it up strong enough to hold, I might go and get a canister of CO2 or something and try that out and see what sort of results I get. There's another engine in this book, which, if you haven't seen the design before, it's out of this book. Thanks, Chirpy. And awesome, my dear Craig. Awesome. Cam, it's not solid. This is the outside diameter. And there's another core comes through off this core box, which is this diameter, which is the inside. So there's a core through the inside of this core. Maybe. That's sort of the idea. I'm not very good at describing or sort of explaining that, but that's how it works. And soda stream's a pretty smart idea. I can do that. This little engine, back on that. This is the marine version, which is quite a nice little engine and would run quite a nice boat, I think. If you got to the point that you wanted to build a boat after you'd built this. They kind of grow, but this is a lot of the similar parts. All the engines similar. The boiler's very, very similar. The safety valve's the same. It's got a different burner in it. And it runs pretty nice. If anyone wants to build this, there's a series of videos I put up 2015, 2016, probably 2016. Quite a construction series on this. It's a bit basic and a bit boring and kind of fills in the gaps of what I did. But I've got to cast a couple of castings for this. I've got the pattern out. And if I can get to the... If it stops raining enough to get to the foundry, I'm probably going to cast a couple of them. That's a little split pattern. I've got a couple of viewers who would really like to build that engine. If anyone wants one or wants a set of these, I've got 3 sets promised. I'm going to try and get 3 sets of them out next time I go to the foundry. They're not fun things to cast, but I've hopefully improved the patterns a little bit since the last lot. Anyone wants a set, I'm making a rod for my back, but let me know, drop me an email, and I'll see if I can sort something out. So that's that little engine. And they're both out of that book. If you're having trouble finding this book and you're watching this by some obscure chance, maybe I can help something with that too. The book's copyright and I'm not promising anything, but there might be a way we can do that. Don't know what else there is. It's Bruce's birthday, which is bizarre because no one's heard a beak out of him all day. That's Bruce Witham in Western Australia. I have this crazy sign to restore for him and I really need to do something about it. But I don't really have a picture of what it was like. It's probably showed this before. It arrived in the post. It's just a street sign. It says mullock bin, as you do. And it's sort of got that number plate look at it, or a street sign look. And it looks like it may have one day been white. I asked him for a picture of what it used to look like. And I got this small picture of a very big industrial scene with a silo in the middle, and about halfway up the silo, or the storage vessel, like 2 stories in the air, there was this sign on the wall, and it looked pretty much the same as this. In fact, you had to really have an arrow to point out where it was because you couldn't see it. It had all been painted silver. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I'm probably going to panel beat it up a bit first. It feels like it's probably got a coat of paint on it still already. And I'm wondering if we just strip this grey crap off, what you would find underneath. But I think it's been white and black. So a couple of coats of paint and a couple of coats of sand and filler and probably some black letters on it's going to do the job. But there's my project for Bruce. And put that out of the way for another week. This also arrived this week. I don't know if I showed you this. I don't think so yet. I bought this chuck with a view to mounting it on the launch. And a very kind gentleman bought me another one, which is a 4-jaw. And I intend to mount both of them on the launch. That's really nice. But in the same breath, he said, well, do you have a use for a manual rotary table to fit that chuck, which is Sherline too? And this is a really nice bit of kit. It's got an oil hole. It's got T-slots. And it's got decent engraved, like proper engraved indexes around it and around here. Everything's fairly nicely made. It needs an angle plate or something to mount it on it so there's mounts that way. I've got a few jobs for this. So I just want a big thanks and a shout out to him because that's an amazing thing to do. And whether one day I spend the money and get retrofitted with CNC, maybe. They do make a really nice CNC module. Or whether I do it myself, I'm not sure. But electronics and CNC and stuff is not really the thing I'm best at. Okay, I didn't get all this chat, so I'm going to go through it and just reply to it. Craig, this gentleman is Kenneth Wells. Thanks, Tinker. Good tip on the talc powder, Chirpy. That's probably something I'm going to do. That's a really good idea. Thanks, Cam. Yeah, it's a scary expensive book. Drop me an email, Craig. This book is about about 90 pages. It's copyright, and yeah, there are things that we've done to sort that out. Can we get a view of the back of the chuck that was screwed on the rotary table? Yes, Chirpy. This is just 3/4 16 thread. So I intend to make arbors for this to go in the collet socket for the launch. That's the idea for this. A lot of work I do is only this big. This has got reversible jaws. light discs and things, this is a pretty helpful sort of a size to have on my lathe. This has got a thread in it, Lisa, which screws in there. And it's got another screw for that. I think it probably works all right. It's got a set of clamps to clamp this down if you need to. This is well thought out, pretty smart, neat stuff actually. It's Sherline's pretty good quality gear. I'm constantly impressed with what I've seen. Look, that book, by the way, I have on authority from someone who probably knows this stuff, and there is a bit of a collector's society looking and buying these things, and interested in them, and I have it on authority that this book's probably going to be reprinted before too long. So now's a good time to sell the book if you've got a copy rather than to buy it, I think. So it makes a pretty nice engine, I've got to admit. There's a lot of work in this. I've done 22 videos. I've got 21 videos uploaded to Patreon, and about, that's not exactly right because some of them were in 2 parts. There's probably 25, 30, 27 videos, something like that. And I've still got one more to go, which will be Steam Up. And then I'll move on to the next project, which is this crazy thing. So I'm a little bit in front on videos for this. I've actually shot 3 videos and I've got them sort of ready to go, which is amazing, but it's not going to last. Stefan. Hey Craig, no need to stress too much about that, but if you're interested in this engine, it's a good place to find the rest of the videos. You can binge watch all weekend. It's a man with a tumbling machine. I've got a million questions about that, but I'm waiting for the video. Yeah, that I have a million questions about tumbling machines, which I'm sure you can answer. That tends to end up with me in trouble. I had a million questions about Stan Zinkowski's heat treat oven, and I've kind of said I'll take delivery of one at the bash in June, so that's kind of a pretty exciting thing to be waiting for. I'm glad you straightened that out, Stefan. So that's my big news. I wasn't even going to say that, but I have put my name on the list for one of Stan's nice looking heat treat ovens. I trust his electrics and I trust his craftsmanship, and I mean, he's an industrial electrician. He builds spray paint booths. He knows about heat control and hooking things up to mains power. So to me, that seems like a sensible place to find a heat treat oven. All I've got to do is find somewhere to put it. I totally expect a good video on it, Stefan. I have mine. I have some compound in it and some water, and I put someone's suggestion a couple of tablespoons of Ajax bathroom cleaner in it as well, which is pretty aggressive actually. Like, it really is. It's a pretty aggressive tumbler medium, but I'm sort of thinking that some garnet sandblast medium or something like that might be a good idea, because anything to stop the noise or to make the amount of time when the noise is on a little bit shorter is a good thing. YouTube pulled which, Craig? Everyone's laughing at this, which is quite disrespectful actually, because I'm going to roll this back a bit so we can see it. This is a chalkboard I've been working on off and on for the last little while. There's actually gold leaf on top, and I'm sort of about 60% happy with it at the moment, but we're living with it. Okay, if this turns out okay, if it turns out okay, and it probably will, I've got some thoughts on how to finish it. It needs a bit more work. Probably 4,000 subscriber giveaway. Post it off to someone. So there's a little announcement. We're still 100 subscribers or something away. We never ever seem to get any more or any less. So that's cool. That was the idea behind this sign, rather than actually put it up here, because I don't want a to-do list. I've got a notebook that's full of to-do lists, and that's enough for me. But if this cleans up all right and it looks okay, and I'm going to re-gold leaf one of those number letters, and probably some of them, I'm going to do a bit more lettering and a little bit more shading, and probably some detail down here in the corner. I had an idea for that, and probably some stripes on the pole, something like that. There's things I can do to it, and I might get it finished this week, but I'm sort of thinking it might be a 4,000 subscribers giveaway. Everyone needs a to-do list in their shop. So there you go. That was the thoughts behind that. Poles, I think. Whether I was going to gold leaf these and do like a wraparound gold leaf on them, and I might still do that. They need a bit more detail and they need an outline on them. We're not finished yet. It's a work in process, but it's just something to break it up a bit. They'll get some outline and they'll probably get a spiral stripe in gold. I think I've still got, there's half a book of gold leaf there, so that'll do that pretty easily. There is no focus, Chirpy. We don't have focus. Hey, Tommy Gun Machining. How's the quick change gearbox going? We need an update on this. I would say Abbotcack too, but I don't know how to say it and I don't know how to spell it, so I'm glad you changed it, really. Okay, so Adam, we think it needs a pin-up girl on one side. Ah, I like the way you think. So I'll think about that. Interesting. Interesting. So one of the projects this week, when I had time off, was to fit a sheet of tin right across this wall to about here and here. Because all these stickers need a more permanent home and I need my whiteboard back. So probably I'm going to put a frame up there with a sheet of white tin on it, or whiteboard. Mount this on it properly because I want my G-clamp back too. You see that? The G-clamp's all that holds that in place if you have a look there at the top. And I've got duplicates of a lot of these stickers so I can pull them off. The ones that I don't, I'll clean up and probably transfer across carefully. But not sure if that's going to happen yet. It might happen tomorrow. We'll see. I also had a bit of a mess around with this GoPro tonight to try and get live streaming through that because I'd really like to. But I'm not sure how supported YouTube is. It live streams to Facebook, okay, but we'll have a look at that. So this is just my Samsung Android phone. It's probably quite good. It doesn't focus particularly well. And I've got to keep an eye on the screen for comments, which is kind of difficult, but we get there. I don't have a Stefan Gottswinter sticker yet. Don't have a chirpy sticker, but I understand that. No, I've ditched my laptop. I have got a cheap ass workshop laptop, but it's kind of at the point that it's dead. And I've actually bought a desktop or a tower instead because I need a bit more power for video editing. Oh crap, Lisa, I haven't sent it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'll get that off too. I've got your address. I hear what you're saying, Cam, about this. Really appreciate your input on that. And yes, you could glue it together. My foundryman's not real keen to do that. I'm going to see if it'll actually cast in one bit. If we pull this out and then slip it apart, there's every chance that we will get it out in one piece. So I'm going to try that first. If it doesn't work, well then maybe we can re-engineer it so it's in halves. Didn't see Dale Derry tonight, which is, probably should shout him out. If everyone watches or anyone watches YouTube at all, they probably know this guy, Dale Derry, Metal Tips and Tricks. That's a rare Dale Derry sticker, and I think I haven't seen too many of those. If you know this guy, he was in our chat the other week. He's awesome gent. He's been moving, and we've been promised some videos soon, but he's had terrible bad luck moving with a truck halfway across America. So go and check out his videos. There's Build Something Cool, I think his channel's called now. Other awesome thing is I'm expecting a parcel from this gentleman, Shark River Machine. He's made me a set of precision ground flat stones, which I'm kind of feeling like I need in Queensland because it's so humid at this time of the year. Robin Renzetti promised me some, but he got that many orders. I think it scared him off, and I don't think he can even hope to get halfway through them. So, and work gets in the way. So ask Stephen Lang, Shark River Machine. Check him out too. Who else is on the board here? Randy Richard makes these amazing scribers. Had one of these as the runner-up prize for the tool making competition giveaway, which I haven't heard whether it was even received yet. I don't know what's happened with that. Haven't heard anything. So if he's watching, maybe he could drop us an email. I might drop you an email tomorrow when I've got time. Anyway, there's a lot more stickers to go on there, and I'm eventually going to do something about that. And maybe next week you're going to see a new sticker board. But anyway, I might call this a night. We're getting sick of this. It's 50 minutes. Gosh, it's getting a bit long. Thanks heaps for visiting, everyone. And it's really awesome to catch up. All your feedback and chat, that's kind of awesome. It's really... it means a lot to me, actually, to have this little bit of social interaction for the week, especially when I'm here on my own. And I'm not intending to go anywhere for the rest of the week, I don't think. I might go across to the hardware tomorrow and buy a sheet of steel for a whiteboard. But apart from that, I don't intend to go anywhere. So really appreciate you dropping in. And really appreciate you watching my videos. It's crazy that I have nearly 400 videos on YouTube. It's kind of Mr. Pete style. It's just bizarre. And appreciate that I log on here on Wednesday night and there's 10 people waiting with nothing else to do, which kind of is a bit crazy. You know who you all are. So thanks for everything, and I'm going to call this a night. Really, it's been fun again, and we'll say be kind to each other and more soon.